Hi y'all, this is Pam at Pink Dragonfly Wings, and we are doing another video for our Magic Monday videos. This week we are going to scoot all this stuff over. I just took a picture, so I'm going to scoot all this over a little bit and make some room, and we're going to make some decorated index cards, and we're going to make 5 of them. This one, I'll put it down here because this one turns up like that. In my stash, I found some of these cool index cards that have these really big dark lines. We have a green one and a purple one, a blue one, an orange one, and a yellow one. And I have like this huge stack of these things, like huge. And I thought, what am I going to do with those? Those are a little obtrusive. So we decided to make index cards with them. So that's what we're going to do today. Now these 5 cards will be in the drawing at the end of the week, or at the end of the month. And we're going to replicate these pretty much as best we can. And I'm going to do this yellow one first because I used some stickles on this and it has to dry a little longer. So I'm going to get started on it first so it has longer to dry. So we're going to do that one first. So here's our cards that we're going to use. Let's see. And I picked out some papers and some things. So we'll do this. Now, what I did is I have, and these cards are different on both sides. So you have to decide which side you want to use. And I wanted the yellow side, so we're going to decorate on top of the blue side. And we're going to do, this one is, these little cards are kind of cool. And I bought these, I can't remember now for sure where I bought them, but they're called Toon Dex cards. Never heard of such a thing, but I bought several of these here somewhere. And I thought, wow, that'll make a perfect little front for our card. And this one says the title of the song is When the Buds Begin to Blossom. So we put some flowers on there and made some blossoming buds. This one says when it's tulip time in Amsterdam. So we have some tulips. So we're going to use some tulips. We're going to start by gluing this down to the front of this. As soon as I can find my glue. And we're just going to glue this down. This would be really cool if we could use both sides. But on this particular project, I'm going to have to glue it down. So I don't get to use both sides. But that's probably why I lose my pens. There's another one. Okay, so like on the back of this, it says performing rights through, the date that it was issued, who the writers are, copyright, the arrangements, the keys, the piano keys, all that kind of stuff. It tells you when it was, it's just kind of cool. And this particular song was copyrighted in 1944. So that's pretty cool. By Momar Music Corporation in New York. I think that says Momar. Anyway. All right, so we're going to glue this side down. And if we can get the glue to come out a little better, we'll glue. And then it has the music on it, so the little song, so you can see exactly how the music went, how the song went. I think that's pretty cool. If I find some more of those somewhere, I'm going to buy some more of them just because I think they're pretty cool. And then I'm going to open my scissors and try to trim this off. Well, that really doesn't need to be. That one's fitting a little better than the other one. So we'll get that. We'll get our dauber as soon as I can remember where I put my dauber. There it is, hiding over here. And my ink. Alrighty, this is week 16. So here we go. We're going to ink around the edges. All the way around. And then we'll turn it over and go ahead and ink the back side. Let that ink be drying just a little bit. Okay. Put that down. Then we've got to figure out how we want our tulips. This one has tulips. I think we'll put this one right here. So we might need to put this one down first because it's going to be the one closest to the edge. So let's see if I can very quickly and easily get these to come off. Okay, I think we'll put this one just a little bit higher up here so we can see more of the stem. There we go. Rub that in really good. These are those little kind of washy type stickery things. And that one's sort of a orangey yellowy, and this one is more yellow. Well, and sometimes they're kind of hard to get loose from here, especially when you can't see. So, and if I work at it for a second and I can't get it to come off, there it came. Go over to another little area and I had let my nails grow out. I'm a prolific lifelong nail biter, and I had let my nails grow out, but since I've started crafting so much, they just stay broken. So we'll put this one right here and overlap it just a little bit with the leaves so it looks like this one's a little further back. Don't think we'll need those two because we want to put this bundle on here. And I like that. Probably should have put that one over there, but I didn't. And I doubt that I can get these up now. Let me see. Maybe, since I didn't glue them, they might just come right up. How lucky can we be? Looky there. That tells me I probably need to put a little glue behind them when I put them down this time. But let's put this white one over here because we have a little bit more room, and I don't want to cover up the words to our song. So let's see if we can get this one unhinged. Alrighty, come on. I can't get it to come up. It is so thin. good gracious. Let's see if I can get my little dental tool and make it work. That doesn't seem to work either. There we go. I got it in there. So we're going to have 900 minutes on our video of me trying to get this little piece of plastic up. Goodness gracious. There we go. Lousy. That was painful. Okay, so let's put our flowers down here as low as we can put them. Without covering up our words. There we go. That's kind of, we can cut that off a little bit. That extra. You would think as hard as it is to get off of that, you wouldn't have to work at it too much. And then we'll put, let's take these apart, and let's put this one right down there, and then we'll put this colorful one on the end. There we go. Very cool. All right, so now we have our little stickers stuck on there, so let's trim the edges off. We could flip them to the back, but I don't want them to interfere with our writing lines on the back of our card, so we're just going to cut them off. There we go. And now then, I had a little sticker here that I thought would be really cool. It's roses, not... wonder what I did with that. Let's look and see. I think at the time I chose these roses, I hadn't chosen the card yet, and so let's see if maybe we might find one that has some tulips on it. Don't really see anything in here. That's a tulip. Okay, we don't have any of those. So I think we'll just stick with our robes. I think it'll be fine. I didn't want it to be a different color, so I think this is going to be fine. That's just greenery. Don't think those are tulips. So let's see. Let's see, there's another yellow rose. No, I think we're tulipless. We have no tulips. So that will just have to be okay. And that will be okay with me. Here's a smaller one that's a little greenery. I like the smaller one though. So we'll put that one back where it belongs someday. someday. So what we'll do is get our little dauber and ink around the edges, because we want it to stand out from the music a little bit. I'm going to put that right there, and then if we can find us a little nubbin of lace, I'm going to check out my nubbin bucket first. That's a piece that might work. One may be too small. And these are all of my little nubbins that I use for making snippets. Now there's a little, I don't think that's gonna work. There's a little bigger piece. Let's see if we can get one of these to work. And let's see if we put this right under here, and then put our little stamp on top of that. I think that will work just fine. I like that. Alright, so we're going to use our Fabrifix because we are gluing lace, and so we want to make sure that it sticks really nicely. And just put a little glue right there. Put our piece of lace on here. And we'll put our little tag. Let's go ahead and use the Fabrifix. And put that on right there. Alright, so when it's tulip time in Amsterdam. So we have the front done. Let's turn over and do the back. I left this off because I went with something different, so that's cool. We have some lace, some washi tape here, and I'm going to put it right here across the top. So I'm going to glue it because, as a rule, washi tape will peel up after a while, and so I want to make sure that it stays stuck. So let's put our, I think it's about time to go wash our nubbin out. We're going to go and do with it today. And I joined a swap group here several years ago, and we did a washi tape swap, and I still have some of this washi. You kind of went through your stash and saw what you had and picked out some and put them on a little piece of card, or some kind of little something or another like that, and we exchanged. And so you got all these cool washis without having to buy a whole roll of washi. And but I'm gonna untwirl this, I hope, and we're gonna put that right up there just so it has just a little dab of glitter, a little shine up there. You know, everybody needs a little shine in their day. Put that back over there. I'll cut this off. We have already inked it, so that's already done. And we're going to put some little dots of stickles. I have decided on some of my projects, I am going to do a de-stash of things that I have had for years and either haven't used or don't use very often, and so I'm going to use up some of my stuff. So we're going to put a little dot here, and it's just down and up, down and up, and then I'm going to do the center, and I'll shoot the difference on this one and this one, and then I'm going to go in between each one and put these little stickle dots on here. for some added bling. Now on this one, I put some in the middle of our flowers, but I'm not going to do that on our tulips because they don't open up the same way. So that one is finished. So we have one done, and I'm going to put this one aside over here and let it dry. And we'll go to the next one. Okay, so we'll do this one, and this one, the tag would fit in our book standing up like such instead of like such. So I have some stuff here. Here's my tag. So this is the one we're going to make. We're going to do the blue side because we're going to decorate the front in blue. And this is a tag, and it's just ever so slightly smaller than this index card. But that's okay. It's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the yellow stickles away because we're done with that. And we're going to get our dauber. We're going to ink around. Alright, we're going to ink all the way around this. We'll do the top later because it's because we're going to have to cut it off. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our little punch, our Crocodile Corner Chomper, and we are going to do a little fancy stitch down here. We'll do a little fancy stitch on our card as well. Okay. Ink that back up where I cut that. I should have cut it first, but I didn't. So we're going to do that. We're going to put a little glue on the back. We're going to put it, I think, on our card this time. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether we put it on the card or we put it on here. Just doesn't matter. So we're going to go right down the edge. These little cards are so simple and so quick, and they add so much to your journal. Now you can use index cards like this. You can use regular index cards. You know, the regular study ones we used in school. If you don't have any, just cut you a little 3x5 piece out of cardstock and use that. It will work just fine. Okay, put that down. Ever so slightly. I still hadn't got it even. By the time I get to pulling it up and down 1,400 times, I'm going to have to put some more glue on it. Okay, so we're going to smooth that out since I did pick it up several times. We're going to turn this over and cut it right off even with the top. Now, we have the little white border. Let's show you. We have the little white border around it on all sides, but not at the top. But that's okay because of what we're going to put on here. So, we are going to ink around our white border, so that for one, you can see that there is a little white border there. And ink all the way around. We'll go ahead and ink our top. We're going to turn it over, and we're going to ink the back side of our card. Go ahead and do it now, so we don't have to remember to do it later. And there we go. All right, so now then, we have a pretty little, I think this is an iris, maybe? Anyway, it's blue. And so we're going to put a piece of washi underneath here because I tried it without it and it just didn't look as nice. So I found some blue flowery washi in my stash. And I'm going to use that to put here so it would be kind of behind our flowers. And like I said, I'm going to glue it. We're just going to put that right across there. And we'll wipe off the excess where I've got a little wild. And then we're going to cut this off even. Okay, sure we are. Okay, and then cut that one off. Okay, so we'll put that in the trash. If I can get it off with my finger. Put this back down here in our blue washi drawer. And we're going to get some of this cute little ribbon. I don't have very much of it left, so I don't know what I'm going to do when it's all gone. But it's little flowers, and it just looks like little flowers growing in the garden. So we're going to put this on here, and I want the flowers to be down low enough so that when we put our little rhinestones on it, that the rhinestones are actually on the card and not out here in La La Land. So let's take our good scissors here and trim off these little nubbins because we don't want them to stick out. And we're going to center this as best we can on here. And so it looks like we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this one. Well, that's because I didn't center it. So, okay. So we're going to do 6 little flowers here. And put that back in our nubbin bucket. And then it'll stick out just a little bit on the ends. So we're going to have to trim it just a little bit. But that's okay. We're going to get our washi. And we're going to run it right along. Going to get our washi. We're going to get our glue. We're using Fabrifix again because we're using lace. And then we're just going to put a little dab in our leaves and a little dab across the bottom of our flowers. We're not going to put it all over the flower because the flower is going to stick up. See, it's going to stick up over the edge, so we don't want that glue. And then we'll take it and as best we can, we're going to center it. Because we are. There we go. And we'll just leave that hanging off. It won't matter. It won't matter at all. Try to make this even. And then I have some little blue rhinestones here. And I did this one. This one has a little heart in the middle. And then we put a little heart on the back. But this isn't an odd number. So we're going to put little dots on all of them. And let me wipe this so that it doesn't strain. Because I want just a very, very small dot in the center of that flower. These little rhinestones are very small. So we want to make sure we don't get too much glue. And it is hard to get just a little nubbin dot. Okay. I'm going to take my knife, cutting knife. I'm just going to pull these up and put them in that very center of that little flower. We'll get another one. Put them right in the center. So these flowers will match our flower down at the bottom. And put that one in. Now these are self-adhesive rhinestones, but I don't trust them very long. So I always put a little dab of glue behind them to help give that extra hold. I came out just exactly right on these. I had exactly 6 of these, so today is my day to be lucky. If it'll stay on there, baby, come on. Stay in your little dot. And we have one more. So, there we go. And I'm not going to put anything else on this because I want the focus to be those flowers. But we are going to turn it over. Now, on this one, I put just a little strip of blue sparkle washi tape. And I used the last piece I had. So, I'm going to have to do something else. I have some whiter. It's a lighter blue. And I might just use that. That will work. And I've had this skinny washi forever and a day. And I need to use it up. So, that's what we're going to do. And here we go on the hunt again, trying to find the end. Okay. And we'll just lay that right across there. Not for anything special. It just gives it just a little bit of shine. And then we'll trim this off. Probably would be better if I'd let it adhere to the glue first. And cut that off. And then we'll just trim right around where we did it before. I could use the chomper thing again, but when it's sticky on one side like that, it tends to get stuck. So I don't want to do that. So we'll put that back down there for another day. And we'll trim this off right here. Now, we can put another one of these little flowers right here in this corner or in this corner. If we want to do that, let's go ahead and do that. And I just cut one little flower off of my lace. Don't worry about it too much. And then I cut this little piece off of the bottom. Okay, so we didn't have that extra piece. And we can put him right there in the corner. Except let's turn it over so it's on the right side. And it just adds just a little decoration to the back, just to make it look a little fancy. And we'll put a little glue on it. And put him right in there. Now, I don't have another little tiny one like I did on the other side, but I do have the next size up. So let's use that. And I only have one of them. So, oh, there's two. So we have this one. We'll put this one right here. It's a little bigger, but not enough to overpower the flower, so I think it'll still work just fine. Put that in there. And then we have some of these little stars, but I think this is plenty fine for me. So I think I'm going to be done with that. So this is the one that we made originally. Has a little heart in it. And I just think that is so cute. And then this is the one that we made for our journal. So let's make sure our little flowers haven't moved off of their centers. They try to wander around when you start turning it and flipping it. And sometimes you end up with the center of your flower over the other direction. So we'll do this one. Get him back where he needs to be. And then we'll set him aside to dry because he's done. There we go. Okay. We'll put him right there. And we will move on to our next one. Now then, this one, I'm going to save that one till last because it's a collage. And I want to do this one next. This is some watercolor paper that my grandson did. Well, actually, it's an art paper. And he was not pleased with how the picture that he drew came out. So he watercolored over it. And I said, I don't care if it has drawing on it. That's fine. Because I like the watercolor and the way he did the dots and all that. So I get all of his scrap watercolor papers, and I'm going to use it on this piece of paper here. And I've chosen to do it on the purple side because of all the purple here. So we're going to lay this down. Let's see, I don't know really how would be the best. Maybe that might be the better way to do it. And so I'm going to tear this edge right here. And I'm just going to tear it right down the edge. We're going to ink the edges. And if you can see on the prototype one, the edges are rough. And you can see from the other side, the edges are rough. That's how I wanted it to be. So, we're going to just tear this off. I'll just tear it the whole length because I'm not sure how much space I'm going to need. And then I'm going to kind of measure. And so, let's get a pencil. And I'm just going to kind of tell myself that right here is the edge. And that I can stay right along that edge and tear. It just kind of is a guide for me to use. If it goes in like that, that's cool. We don't care. And we're going to go down about that far and tear it across again. If you have any doubts, tear too much, not too little. Because you can always tear off a little more. You just can't put any more back. And I know I put a little line there, but for the life of me, I cannot see it. We're going to tear it this direction. If you want these little white edges on your paper, tear the top part towards you. If you don't want that, tear this part away from you, and it will come out better. Okay, so now we have a little piece that's approximately, it's a little big, so we could still even tear off just a little bit more. We don't want to tear off too much because we don't want that orange showing, but we do want it to be pretty. So let's tear off just a little dab right there. And that's going to be a little better. Do a little bit here. And, okay. And there we go. That covers our card pretty good with not a lot of overhang. We can tear off just a little bit right down here in this corner and make that a little narrower. Okay, and then we have all these little pieces. We'll throw this in the trash. I don't keep pieces that little. We're going to get our dauber. Now you can daub this in or ink this in any color that you wanted, but I tend to ink most of my stuff in brown when I'm making it to go in a journal because I think that fits better. And then that way you're not restricted by color in your journal. I'm going to ink this all the way around. And like I said, these white edges kind of absorb the ink a little bit better and really make it look dark. And I like that look. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to, 1, you don't have to ink. 2, you don't have to ink in brown. And 3, you don't have to tear the paper towards you like that. So we're going to make sure that our card is correct. And because this overhangs just a little bit, I'm going to put the glue this time on the card, directly on the card. And then we'll glue that down. So we're just going to go along the edges. glue that down really good. Now, like I said, this is done on watercolor paper, so it's a little more absorbent. And make sure lay it down and cover as best we can that card. Now, if you don't get it just exactly even and a little bit of it shows, that's okay, because we're going to ink that card anyway, so that extra little part will be inked. So I'm going to pull that off just a little bit and ink that little corner again. So now we're going to go around, and the places that we think we see the card, we're just going to ink a little bit more, make it a little darker, because we don't want the card to show on the front. Now on the back, we're going to ink the edge. And you can see here how it's uneven. That's okay, that's what we wanted. We're going to make this inked around the edge, so it's going to have brown around not only the card but also the paper that's overhanging. And if that bothers you, you can cut that off and make it just square, and that's cool. You can do that as well. Okay, that's up to you, but for us today we want to do this. Now then, I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of embossing. I pulled out 2 stamps. This one is a little wand, for a little fairy wand. So this is going to be our fairy card. And then we have the word sparkle. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to get my little envelope here that I used to spread on. We're going to take our stamp, and this is a Versamark watermark stamp. This is what you would use if you were just going to stamp a page that has a watermark type design on it. It's kind of ooey gooey, so we're going to put that in our stamp pad here. Make sure we get the whole pad covered. And then we're going to lay it down on the edge of our corner, put it down, and press. Do not move it. Don't wish it. Straight down, straight up. You can just push along the edge to make sure it's fully contacted. Okay? You won't see anything. Take our sparkle, and we're going to do the same thing. Make sure that it's good and inked up. Then we're going to put sparkle down in this corner. Okay. And again, you don't see anything. Cover this up because it will dry out pretty quickly. This is our embossing powder. And so we're going to put it on top of this. And this is called Enchanted Gold. It's embossing powder from Ranger. And you'll see when we get it done. And then you hold this up and just pour this powder on it. And the powder is going to stick where the stamp was. Kind of shake off the excess. You'll see it there. You can kind of begin to see it a little bit. Do the same on our word sparkle. And let it sit for a second. Might need to put a little bit more on there. I may have shook off too much. Okay. Before we do anything else, let's take this, put this back in here, because when we get our heat gun out in a minute, that stuff is going to melt to wherever it is. So if you don't want it on your paper or other places, you need to shake it off before you get the heat gun. Okay? Now, this is just a scrap piece of paper, but I'm going to try to do this so that you can see. Now I've got my thing all tangled up down there. And you can kind of see how this, let's see, it's going to shine. We're going to hold it up, our heat gun over it, and you should be able to, except that's kind of hot. So you'll be able to see it melt. See it melting? You go right down, it's very quick. We'll do our word sparkle. And that's it. Let it cool off for a minute because it is still hot. And then you'll be able to see the words, or you should be able to. I don't know if you can see them on the camera or not, but now they're stuck. They're stuck there. But they're subtle, so you don't have this glaring out thing at you. Now then, when I did this one, I put some little washi tape over in the corner. I don't know, because I did this one in green and I had the green washi, it worked great. This one, I don't know that I have purple washi, that little. So, we may have to forego that. I have some whiter that is purple, but that's not really what I was looking for. So, I think we could use some silver if we need some. I have some blue. That's actually black. So I think we'll just go without washi today on that corner. And we'll get us a little piece of the sari silk that I use a lot. Just get us a little piece here. And right there is a tie, and I don't want the tie, so I'm going to cut that little piece off. Don't throw it away. So we'll put it in our nubbin bucket because we always use it for something. And then we're going to tie a little bow. Just a little tiny bow. And the other one that I used some lacy ribbon, that I had cut off of a shirt that I no longer wore. But I think it's a little thick for the journal that I'm going to put it in. So I think that this sari silk will work a little better. It lays a little flatter. So we're going to cut our legs about the same. And we have our legs. And we'll put that over there. And we're going to put this up here in this corner. But before we do, we're going to get one of these little bulb pins. And I know that this stuff kind of has a goldish tint to it, but it also has some sparkle that makes it look silver. So we're going to put a silver bulb pin, and somewhere on my table I laid out, there she is, a little fairy charm that's sitting on a crescent moon. So we're going to put her on this bulb pin, and then we're going to put the bulb pin right in the center of our ribbon. Not all the way through, just enough to hold it, and pull it through there and connect it, and put that in the corner so that our little fairy hangs down here. Can you see that? Maybe it would help if I move that a little bit. Okay, so we're going to glue this down. Now if you wanted to spray it and make it a pretty color, you could certainly do that, but this one is working perfectly for me. So we're going to put this up here in this corner and have our little lady just dangle there. Now these may be a little bit long, and if we do, we can certainly cut that off. You can make that to your preference, however you like it. And we've done the front of our card. Now on the back, we just put some green washi tape And like I said, I don't have any purple washi tape, but I do have some of that silver. So just to make it look pretty and stand out a little bit, let's put just a little strip of it right down here. And I kind of shoot the difference between here and here. This little white part up here is wide, and it would be great to put the date or whatever you're writing about, but this kind of separates it just a little bit and gives it a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of shine. So, and I like shimmer and shine, so there we go. Cut that off. And I'm going to cut this one off, and that's all we're going to do to the back. We could put another piece down here if we wanted to, but on this one, I think I'll just leave it with the one. Okay, and we have that one finished with our little dangle. Okay, so we have another one done. That one actually, well, we need to let our little bow dry. This one is in the giveaway. All right, so we have our next one. We have a little bird here. We're going to have to, I put it on the orange because he's got some orange in him. And we're going to have to put something behind him that, I wonder how this would look. This was a little scrap that I had left. Oh, and it's just perfect. How cool. How cool is that? Okay, so if we put that on there and then put our little bird on there, I think he would be fine. I think that would work. So let's do that. And we are doing the orange side. So I'm going to decorate the purple so that we have one of each color. And we're just going to glue this down. If we can get enough glue to come out. And then we'll put this on here. And it fits perfectly. Perfectly. Okay. And we're going to really put that down because this is actually a piece of lightweight cardstock, so we want to make sure it really adheres well. And here's one of my bone folders. We'll make sure it gets to the edges really good. So we'll just turn this over. Cut that right at the edge. We'll trim this just a little bit because it, for one, isn't cut exactly straight, and two, it's just a little big on that one little corner. So we're going to do that. This goes in the nubbin bucket. And on this one, we put a little decorative corner on it. So let's do that. This is the Cloud and Scallop Corner Chomper by Crop-A-Dile. And the last time I used the scallop, this time we're going to use the cloud. We're going to go right in here, cut all the way through it, and do this one. Okay. Now the next thing we need to do before we get started is to ink around the edges. I try to do this first so that it doesn't interfere with whatever I put on my card. So in case something hangs over a little bit. And this little bird is a bird that I'd fussy cut out, so I'm going to ink around the edges of him just because, I don't know, something about those white edges just doesn't seem to work with me very well. It's kind of overwhelming, I guess, to look down and see white. So we're going to put him on here. We're going to let his little tail hang off ever so slightly over here. So we're going to glue him down. Put a little more ink on his back and on his tummy. And we'll glue him down. And we're not going to glue right on the end of his little tail because that's going to hang over. And we don't want it to be ugly on the other side. So we'll hang his little feet here. Glue his little toes. And we're going to kind of put him where he's kind of sitting like that. Just a tad. And I'm going to raise this up just a little bit for the moment because I'm going to get some book page that I have done, and we're going to kind of put it up here in this corner. Put that like that, and I want to glue that before I glue his little beak down. So we're going to put a little piece right here. We can hang that off, it doesn't matter. Hang that right like that. And, okay. Now then, we need a little piece of lace. Let's see if we can find one first in our nubbin bucket, because these are all just little small pieces. That's a bigger piece that we might use in a minute. I don't know if I said earlier, but I use this bucket to keep all my little pieces and my little strings. And then when I make snippets, especially snippet rolls, this is what I use for one of my layers of snippet. So let's see here. We could just put this on here, cut that off. And put this right on here. We just want to decorate it up a little bit. Put that right like that. Put another little piece on it just for grins. Get us a little, what do you call it? A doily. Y'all know I love doilies. See if we can find a little doily. There's a little doily. It's not, kind of all blends in. It's kind of the same color. Maybe this one will look a little better. So let's see. I put these, I sat and sorted these little things because I have a bunch of them. The lady that I buy them from said this last month that she's not going to be having any more, and I don't really know what I'm going to do, but we'll figure it out. That little piece under there is basically for nothing because it's about the size of the doily. So we'll take that off. How would this one fit? Put that under there. Let's do it this direction. And it kind of makes it look like a nest over in the corner. The little bird is going to his nest. Then we'll put that right there, and that looks great. I like that. So we're going to glue this down. Put some glue on here. Hold that. Come on. And we'll fold that through. It should go at least through the first layer. Maybe not. And we'll do this one. Let's pull this down just a little bit before it gets dry. And then we'll have this right here. Cut this little piece off up here at the top. Put that back in our paper bucket. And then, I don't know. On this one, I put this red stuff at the bottom. Doesn't seem to be sticking very well. I need to glue that again. I don't really, I guess that would look okay. I think that would look pretty. Have it go across there. It looks like a little branch that the little bird is on. So we're going to cut that right there. And then we're going to come in one here and cut it down the row. And I love this stuff. It's kind of made to look like rhinestones, but it's not rhinestones. It's just some kind of tin or aluminum or something. And it's got paint on it, color on it, so it makes it look like little rhinestones without giving you the expense of rhinestones. So we can put that right there, and it makes it kind of look like he's on that bench. So let's put a little bit of this. Apparently we need a little bit more glue than we used the first time, so let's put a little bit more on our circles. And I'll go back when we get done and add some more glue to that one. Pull our string off, and then we're going to do this one in a long, just a long bead right along the bottom here. Okay. And get our strings off of it, if I can, because now it's all stuck to my fingers. And we'll center this right here. There we go. Put that right along the bottom of the card. And there we go. We have our front done. Now then, on this one we put a little pearl. This is a little bit bigger one, so let's get us a little bit bigger pearl. And now get these sheets, and we'll tear that little piece of plastic off. We're going to put a little dab of glue down in that hole to hold our pearl in. It is self-adhesive, but like I said, we don't want it to come flying off, so we add a little extra, and that pearl fits right down in that hole. Awesome. He's cute. Now, did we do anything to the back? We did not. So let's go ahead and do this so I don't forget to do this later. Let's go ahead and put a little more glue on here. That's because I put the glue on the card, not on this, and it didn't adhere everywhere it should have. So that's a lesson learned. If you're going to use this stuff, put the glue on the ribbon, not on the card. We'll put that aside and let that dry a little bit because it is kind of still wet. Move that down just a little bit. And we have that one done. Alrighty. over here and let him dry. And now oh, excuse me, I have the hiccups. Okay, so we're going to do our collage one. We want to make sure we're doing the peach side. Which side are we doing on this one? The green, I think. We're doing green. And we're going to use our little scrap bucket that we have used before. And we're just going to start collaging on here. We're going to put our glue on here. This one is real easy. I used to not like collaging at all, but it was because I wasn't doing it right. And so I started watching some people and learned how to do it. And I love it. I collage all the time now. So, since it is green, let's see. Seems like I had a little piece of green. Yep, there it is. That I put out here. And we don't need the whole piece. That's a little big. But we can use this piece. And if you're interested in how I made these little snippet things, I actually did a video here, a few weeks ago, where I made these, and I got my idea from watching Louisa Heinzel, and she did some, and then I made some of my own. And this is what I use. I have this whole little bucket here, and I use this stuff like crazy. And then all of my other little scraps of paper that I save, I put into another little nubbin bucket. And when I get enough, then I'll make some more. And by then, this little bucket will probably be low. So we'll put, let's see, I don't know, maybe like that. Put this on here, and we're just going to collage it and collage it. Make sure our edges are down good. And we want it to kind of look like a puzzle, kind of, I guess, for lack of a better word. And glue it down really good. Make sure we get that done. Clip through here and find some more. I had some things in here that had some, oh, that's kind of cool. I like all this the dark things. I think looks like a map, part of a map. So I think we can put that right there. Put our glue on. I'll put this down. Trying to cover our edges. We can cut the edge off that's hanging over, but we want to make sure the edges that we do have on here are down good. So, but I had some like calligraphy kinds of papers in here that I wanted to put something. Oh, there's one right there. Oh, alrighty. That wasn't quite what I had in mind, but let's see if we can put it right here. Okay, I think that'll work. We'll just glue this down. The good thing about collaging, if you put it on there and you don't like it, you can just cover it up with something else. So that works pretty good. Hang that over the edge ever so slightly. Put that down. We've got a little place right here. We need something. Let's see how that would work. That looks kind of cool. Like that. Okay. Ooh, the other side looks pretty cool too. I actually like the other side. So let's put the other side down. Okay. sure it's really good on all the edges. And I think that we have all of our card covered. So we're going to turn it over on the back and trim around the edges. This one we didn't make with the intention of it hanging over, although you could certainly do that if you wanted to. I just didn't do it on this one. But we're going to trim the edge around this. And we're going to use one of our other corner chomper thingies. Let's get that back just a little bit, give us a little more room here. Throw all this in the trash. Okay, we're going to use our ticket one. This is our corner chomper. You get a deco side and a stub side. And the stub side is not. We're going to use the deco side. So we're going to put it right in here and chomp and chomp and chomp and chomp. This is not necessary. It just adds a little extra. We put some tea or coffee on the back of this, so we can certainly do that. I have some, oh, here it is, and I put black ink in it because it wasn't real dark, and I'm not real fond of it now, so I'm going to put some more coffee in it and make it more coffee flavored, because right now it's kind of black, and that's okay. It works for some things, but not a thing. I'm going to go ahead and dry it just a little bit. I want some of those spots, and I'll show you what I mean in a second when I get through with this. We just want them to, where it cools, and you get those little dots. I'll show you in just a second. Okay, now it's still wet and pooling, so we're going to take a napkin and we're just going to dab it and dab up all of that extra. You can leave all that extra if you want, but then see, it leaves those little marks, but they're not really dark since we're using this as a journaling card. We don't want it to be overpowering where we can't see the words that we're writing. So we're going to dry it just for a second with our heat gun. This will also help dry the glue that we used on the other side here. We did not ink it first, simply because we're using distress inks, and these are water reactive. And so if you ink it first and then spray your liquid, then it may cause your ink to run on the edges. So we wait until we get finished, and then we'll ink the sides. Let that lay out flat just for a second. And now we'll ink. And I didn't do anything else. I like the collage look, so I didn't do anything else to the front. Make it really dark so that it really shows, especially since we used some dark papers on our collaging. Okay, then we're going to turn over here and do this side. There we go. We're not going to do anything else to this. We're not going to put any washi on it. We're not going to put any ribbons on it. We're just going to leave it as a journaling card. Alright, so get that off there. Got my paper kind of dirty, but We have 1. We have 2. We have 3. This one hopefully is dry. We have that one. And we have our up and down one. And that's what we made today. And you will get each one of these, the prototypes here, will go in our drawing. You'll get all 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So those will all come as your winter gift in our drawing at the end of the month. So that's our Magic Monday for April the what? We don't know. It's week 16, but it is April the 18th. So this is our project. We're going to put these in our journal. This is our journal. So we're going to take these. I am going to let them cool and dry just a little bit more. And then we'll find a place in here. We'll put either a pocket or something in here that we can put a little corner tuck and put one of these down in it, or all of them, since we've made them all, and tuck them down into our, maybe we'll use these 2 pages and do them in both pages, on both pages. But I need to let them dry for a little bit more before we put them in our journal. So I'll do that later, and we'll see it as we go through the journal from time to time. And there we go. That's our project for the day. So please be sure, check out my other videos. Pink Dragonfly Wings is my YouTube channel. Also check out my online store. That is www.pinkdragonflywings.com, and see what we have. We have just put in some new appliques and some new lace in there to kind of see how that works. So go check that out and see what you think, and take a look. Like, subscribe, share. We're trying to get this thing going, so we need lots of subscribers and we need comments. Tell me what you think. What do you think about the index cards? Tell me things you would like to see me do or make, and I'll try. I'm not an expert, but we'll give it a whirl. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.